Alright, welcome back, Gear Slammers, to this weekend project of taking the motor out of my Red S60R. Got a hybrid turbo that I bought on the cheap for putting on it. We're going to shim the block, put a clutch on it. So we're kind of joining us in the middle of it right now. We're about ready to drop the motor on it. So we're going to take you along for that. And does yours have that or no?
What?
I just saw that. That little speaker thing.
Honestly, I have no idea. I don't remember seeing that at all.
I think that, okay.
I wonder it was part of the horn system.
That or or
I don't know.
I don't know. Interesting. I know the alarm on this thing sounds really weird, so that's probably what that's for.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So we got that dropped out. A couple of things that Brad learned from doing his, and what we're not going to do on this, are just not taking off. We're trying not to take off too many things that we don't have to. Taking off as least as possible. Which I don't know if you want to enlighten what you took off, what you didn't have to take off. You were around. I wasn't really around when you did yours.
So I did the AC compressor. I took that off. Well, so originally mine we were supposed to shim. So that was all taken apart, but I did take that off and kept it with the car. I took way too many bolts of this harness off. Well, I had to eventually because of the engine swap and everything else, but initially that was a pain in the butt. We found a better way of taking the transmission shift linkage area off. That's way better than what I had to do. I couldn't get this punch out, so I had to bend that to get it in and out. It was a nightmare. We now know the great locations for the chains right there, and then the opposite side over there on the back side of the motor. Trying to think what else.
It's just the usual stuff you gotta undo.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's easy 101 stuff. I mean, we changed this up. Well, we didn't have to change it. We thought we could get away with the crash bar on, so we took apart power steering system a little bit more than what I did. But also, this was also off. The serpentine belt was off, and I can't remember exactly how I did that at the moment. But yeah, no, we have the rest of the power steering right here.
The evap purge line they're going to have to figure out as we drop it. It kind of runs underneath the steering rack, underneath the sway bar on the back, so there's not enough room to get the large connector to pass through there, so we're going to have to, once we drop it down a little bit, we're going to have to finagle it through and see if we can get it through, or maybe unbolt the sway bar and pop it through there or something like that.
Yeah.
And they also run a brake line underneath the downpipe.
Yeah.
Otherwise you could just leave the exhaust on, drop the entire thing, but nope, they had to run the one brake line down underneath it.
Yeah,
Kind of annoying.
It's been like 6 months, and I don't remember any of this at the moment.
Well, then
so
the exhaust hanger, it's got two bolts on the backside, and there's one on the top that sits right below the steering rack. That's why the forums, I've heard it referred to as an exhaust bracket of death.
Yeah.
Or the exhaust hanger of death, people say, which I can see that, but
yeah, no, we're just gonna.
We'll get it off.
Yeah, well, we're gonna start dropping this and then go from there. It's gonna be loads of fun.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yeah, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the
Alright, so we're just about to pull the head on this thing. Got the cam cover off, got the cams out. We're going to leave the intake manifold on. The exhaust manifold we're going to leave on because there's no reason to really remove it. Just less stuff you have to take off. And I forgot to get exhaust manifold gaskets, so this is what it is.
There is a one piece, and I'll put the part number up here with the Amazon ad or something like that.
These all have the gaskets are all individual pieces for each cylinder. It's kind of weird. And it's real pain to do inside the car.
In fact, it is.
So yeah, we did that. There's a couple extra things we had to undo because we're leaving the intake manifold on. There's a banjo bolt underneath here that's a real pain to get to. Had to take the alternator out to get to it because there's no room. And then there was that goes like the PCV system, and there's a coolant line that goes around there, so we had to take that one clamp off because the thermostat stays with the head. The PCV is going to stay at the block. Took some stuff off from the cover here. That's going to stay at the block.
We also learned, or I learned very, very frequently or recently, that if you don't take apart this nut with these bolts right here, if you separate right here, it will never go back together and it will like seep through there. You have to go from right up here, and there's one down below, but you have to move the power steering. We're not moving that. We're literally just going to rip this thing up and out.
Yep, pretty much. And there's a water outlet on this side we did, and then there's another little bolt there for a coolant line, I think. But yeah, about it. We'll just lift the head off this thing. We got all the bolts out already. Yeah.
Nice range, cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negative.
Well, that happened. What are we doing? This tore apart. That's tore apart. So, long story short, we bore scoped that motor. Took the spark plugs out, bore scoped to make sure it wasn't, the cylinder walls wasn't cracked. And there was a couple cylinders that looked a little questionable, but the general consensus was it looked okay. There's like a really tiny hairline crack right through the liner up to the aluminum. So yeah, that block's no good anymore. Unless you get it machined out and stuff. But so I had a spare engine in the garage that's over there on the stand. That one's not cracked. So what we're going to do is, after a lot of thinking and different planning and different possibilities of what to do, is I decided to put my spare engine in here in my gray car, which is my daily for the summer. And so we're putting a hybrid turbo on this one. We're going to put an LSD in the trans, so we get traction on both front wheels instead of just one, because one is stupid. And I'm having some problems with the rear diff on this thing. There's like a vibration, there's some clicking noise coming out of the back, and not really too sure what's going on, but angle gear collar stripped out on that, super common issue. Everybody knows about it in these things. I kept driving on it, so I didn't have time to fix it, and I didn't have time to fix it at the time, and if you keep doing that, you know, the collar, the teeth strip out. The splines on the angle gear also strip out. They just continue to grind, and then your angle gear is destroyed. Unless you want to weld on the coupling to it. But either way, I think it was a lot of fun just front wheel drive, because it was true front wheel drive. I had the drive shaft out of it and everything, so the front diff wasn't even connected to the trans. It was just front wheel drive. It was a lot of fun. You had to fight the car, torque steer, and it felt like it gained at least 40 horsepower. Like, it was a lot quicker, especially at the top end. So either way, I decided to convert this to front wheel drive. I'm going to put my bad angle gear from that, which we're giving new life, we're going to put it on here so it covers up the hole on the side of the trans. So the collar's not going to hit it, so it's going to be disconnected. And then take the drive shaft out, which we already did. And it's going to be front wheel drive. It's going to be fun. It's going to be just a front wheel drive hybrid turbo. And we're going to put the intercooler from that car onto here, since that car's going to be down for a while. Damn it. So with this motor, what we're going to do is, before we... This motor, what we're going to do is, I just want to take the cam cover off first and to see if this thing has cams. This car is a mystery. It's got almost right around 220K on it, and it hauls ass. I don't know what to say. It's got a newer turbo on it, but there's something about it. It sounds a little lopey at idle a lot of times, so I have a sneaky suspicion it might have cams. This thing we just found out, this intake, or it's not, it's like a vacuum hose right here, split right here. It's only making like 10 PSI. On the boost gauge. Still hauls ass. I don't know how. That car was tuned with a stage 2.5, and this was stock, and this was literally dead even with that car. And it just drives really, really nice. Like, the power just comes on like that. Like, it's, I don't know, there's something different about this that we just don't understand. I mean, we have like 5 Rs that we've, between Brad, I have 2, and then our buddy Nathan's got 2 as well. They all drive different, but they don't drive like this one. We don't know why. So this is our last hurrah. It's still got the turbo's unreplaced, but I looked at the turbo wheels with the bore scope and everything, and it's all stock. I don't know. That's our last hurrah. If it's got cams, that'd be cool, but it probably doesn't. But it'd be just cool to see anyway. We're planning on putting a big aftermarket turbo on the red car. I need to save up a little bit more money before I do that, because I can't just do that right away. This has already cost me a little bit, but it's worth it. So over the summertime and kind of through the winter, I'm going to just be buying parts kind of slowly and getting that thing ready for next year. I don't mind leaving it sit another year. I'd really like to drive it, but it is what it is. Bad things happen. Fuck. But if this thing is cracked, then I'm going to try to find a 2.3 liter block with a thicker cylinder walls, and we're going to throw that one in there and hopefully make all the power and not have to worry about the motor at all. But I prefer not to have to buy another engine. Or I could just sleeve this, but I think it'd be cheaper to buy another engine than go through the work of sleeving this. But maybe not, I don't know. Prices might have changed. Probably went up just like everything else. So when we pulled the motor on that thing, it took us, what, 8 hours?
Yep.
8 or 9, 8.5, something like that. We got this one done in 5. We would have got it done in 4, but we had to take extra time to take the dry shaft off, and some of the bolts they put the wrong bolts in different places, and it took a little bit more time. And we had to drop the exhaust down back further to get the dry shaft out all the way. So it just took a little bit of extra time. So realistically, if we did this car the same way that car, we got it done in 4 hours. That's half the time. Plan for tomorrow is we're going to have to separate the engine and trans, then separate the trans by the case halves to swap out that differential and put the LSD in. Then we also have to put the new clutch on that I got for it too, that we already installed on that one. That's the annoying part. We did the clutch first, and then we pulled the head off due to the shims. That's when we found out those cracks. Now I got to take the clutch back off that motor and then put it on this one. Which you're going to have to do anyway, because if we plan on making any horsepower with that, the clutch that I bought for the hybrid turbo is not going to support the horsepower that hopefully we'll put out. I'm going to have to buy like a twin disc for that or something. So either way, yeah, that's going to have to get swapped onto here, and then we're going to throw everything back together, transfer everything over, shove it back in here. Goal for tomorrow is to hopefully have the subframe at least bolted up and hung inside the car. I think that would be put at a pretty good spot, and then hopefully Sunday we can just button up all the extra little stuff and be less time because we don't have a drive shaft to put back on. It saves at least half hour, 45 minutes right there. Yeah, so that's about it. I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow, and yeah, it's fog. Damn it. 10 hours later. So a lot of stuff happened since when we cut the first time. This is the next day. I got the trans apart, got the surfaces cleaned, ready to go. You got the old differential there, the open diff. Got the new limited slip differential. I got the ring gear on already. Got the bearings on. This is the rest of the trans at the moment. We have the shim that we found on the ground. We have no idea where it goes. Popped out somewhere, so we have to try to figure that out. Old engine down on the ground. Taking stuff off of that, transferring it to the new one, which is on the stand.
Also, for the love of God, if you ever have to do a clutch, where's those bolts?
Replace the bolts.
Replace these bolts.
As it makes the next guy from.
Half of them were stripped. Yeah. Half were stripped. That was fun. But some of the stuff I can't put on right now because this is my job. Accessory drive can't do that because of box.
Bolt on the, oh yeah, the knock sensor and the banjo bolt on
yep.
On the intake manifold.
But yeah, no, this is ready to go. We have to transfer some more piping, like this pipe right here, from one of these motors.
On the red car's motor, and then transfer all the turbo lines, the drain tube, and the coolant tubes and stuff. Gotta do that yet. We took a video on us taking the trans off just to make sure if we had any questions putting it back together, which we do with that shim. So currently downloading, we're trying to get that going. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Just gotta put the trans back together, seal her up, slap it back on, The next task too is we're gonna have to take that engine off the stand and then put the old one up there just so it's on there and I can continue to take it apart in the future, find out if it's cracked, you know, just like we were talking about the other day. Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at right now. So, a lot has happened since we updated you last time and the progress that we were making. We didn't do a lot of filming because we keep forgetting. We're just ready to do it. We want to get it done. We got the trans back together, put the LSD differential in it. We got it all sealed up. Got the cylinder head on the block. Obviously, we have the engine and trans on the subframe all ready to go inside. We just got to button up a few more things, coolant hoses, some wiring. Angle gears got to go back on to start plumbing all the turbos, turbo lines all on in it already and everything. Slap the axles in, so we're pretty close to putting it back in. That's the goal is to go to Road America tonight, untested, untuned, go for the sunset cruise, drive around the track. Everything will be fantastic. We're gonna get it done. It's gonna be good. If we have extra time, we're gonna put in the wideband sensor. But that's the goal for today. If that happens or not, we're gonna hope it does. We really don't have too much stuff left to do, so I think it'll be alright. So we'll see what happens. Ready? Yeah, it should be good. You want fuel pump? No, crank it over a couple more times.